Oh, it's 2:03. You're listening to Rock That Country with Kylz on today's Country 94.1, where country lives. We're about to speak to megawatt talented Bob Corbett, 2012 Toyota Starmaker winner, and find out how his journey's been so far, where he's been, and what he's got coming up next. So we're going to run out one of his songs first, and this is my personal favourite. It is Throwdowns. Don't go away. We'll be talking to the man himself straight after the song.
He spent 15 years on a pipe dream, saying that he never goes where he wanna be. Dragging her down, you know she loves him. Upon his shoulders, holding him, kicking his family in breakdowns, spending her money on the throwdowns. She's slapping his face and she's saying, you, where would you be? Yeah. Where would you go if it weren't for me? Yeah, you, what would I see? Yeah, I'd see nothing at all if it weren't for me. He called the Indian Pacific to the West States. He don't need her loving, gonna migrate. Dragging her down, you know she loves him. Upon his shoulders, holding him, kicking his family in breakdowns, spending her money on the throwdowns. She's slapping his face and she's saying, you, where would you be? Where would you go if it weren't for me? Yeah, you, what would I see? Yeah, I'd see nothing at all if it weren't for me. Whoa.
Oh, we know who that is. That's Bob Corbett and the Roograss Band. And my favourite song, Throwdowns. Welcome aboard, Bob Corbett.
Kylz, how you going?
I'm going very well, mate. And you?
Oh, fantastic. I've just been sitting down at the computer converting a few MP3s for you that I have to email you.
You're a good man. I know I can call on you to do those little things for me. Well, let's kick off this chat. How was the US, Bob? Leave no details out.
Well, leave no details. It was like leaving no stone unturned, really. It was amazing. It was a fantastic experience. Like, you know, we did the Nashville thing, which was like the first 2 weeks, and that was part of the Starmaker prize. and that was a free flight over there, and I played at the CMA Festival, which was this massive festival. Hundreds of thousands of people flocked to it. And it is like Tamworth, but bigger, you know.
Yep. On a much bigger scale.
It's a much bigger scale, but it's not on a crazy scale. Everything's still very normal and comfortable.
And very manageable.
Very manageable, yeah. And the crazy thing about it was that I was put smack bang in the centre of the really good contacts, and it was being run by the top of the CMA and a group called Aristo Media, who was a bloke called Jeff White, who is actually an Aussie expat, and he's kind of the patron saint of all Australian artists that go over there. And but it was still all really normal, talking to all the high rollers and the top guns, and it made me feel very comfortable to get up there and just have a good old time like I usually like to do, you know.
Bob, did you have any, I mean, I know that you're making this very humble and very modest, but was there any stage where you just had to say, geez, this is really happening, you know, I'm really here, this is really happening, all these years you've been working extremely hard, and now the payoff is over there in Nashville. Did you get that whole, you know, like it's happening?
Oh, without a doubt, you know, every couple of seconds on stage I was looking around going, you know, just having a bit of a giggle to myself going, yeah, this is what it's like, okay. But it wasn't enough to sort of throw me. Like, I wasn't, there was a nervous energy, but it wasn't a freak out, you know. But the classic one that I'll probably live with for the rest of my life is after the show, they had this big, luxurious US tour bus parked out the front, which we were to use for change room.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just a bloke from Newcastle who, you know...
A newy boy.
Who lugs my own PA and drives myself home at night. And I'm sitting in there with a mate of mine, Morgan Evans, who is also a Newcastle boy. And we just found us two in there. There was no one else at this particular point in time. And we just looked at each other and laughed, you know. It was one of those moments of, can you believe this, you know? So I did have moments like that, Kylz, yeah, for sure.
So did you have like millions of, you know, gigabytes on your external drive or whatever for your camera, and you've taken millions of rolls of film, have you?
Yeah, I made it a point as soon as I got home to get it all sorted and get it all filed, and that took about 2 or 3 days, because I knew that the whole Starmaker thing would start rolling on again, and I wouldn't have time to do it. So I made a point of doing that, and yes, there were gigabytes and gigabytes. I think I actually came up to, I think there was about 35 gig worth of footage and photos that I took.
A man after my own heart. Look, a lot of us don't ever get the chance to get over there, and I know if I ever did, as a tourist or whatever, big radio star, who knows?
Yeah.
I would probably miss most of my trip because I'd be forever behind the camera. I am like a Japanese tourist no matter where I go.
Yeah.
And, you know, but it's the best thing is that later on, you know, in a year or two's time or whatever, you can look back on those, and just looking at an instant photo will just take you back there again.
That's right, because it is kind of unreal when you're there. And, I mean, I'm not a really big fan of spending time behind the lens all the time, but I've got this pretty good camera where I can just sort of hold it up, and I don't even have to look through the thing, and I just sort of click away. And 90% of the shots are in focus and clear, so I wasn't sort of spending my whole time with the eye down the lens.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, you've got to sort of make the most of it like that, because it really is a surreal experience when you find yourself in these situations, and you just hope that you can remember it all and bring it home and tell stories.
So you did make some good connections over there, Bob? Yeah,
I did. I made a lot of good connections, and that was, I mean, this sounds like a plug, and I guess it is, but they thoroughly deserve it. The Toyota Starmaker people are really connected, and I had no idea how connected they are until I went to Nashville, you know. I wasn't, you know, hanging around the perimeter at any stage. Like just before the show, I was just standing in the crowd talking to people. I was talking to Phil Barton, who was currently #1 on the charts. Not himself, but the song that he'd written for Lee Bryce.
Oh, wow. Woman Like You was probably Woman Like You, was it?
Yes, that's the one,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
And then I was talking to this lady who turned out, she asked me whether I was an Australian, and I said, oh, yeah, have you ever been over? And she said, oh, yeah, I went over there when I signed up in excess to the United States.
Jeez.
Oh, of course you did, yeah.
You're not slumming over there at all, are you?
No, not at all. And they really laid it out for us. And on top of that, the night before, they invited us, Jeff White, the head of Aristo Media, invited us all around for a barbecue at his place. So it was very down home and nice, and we got to see squirrels and fireflies, and, it was bloody
cool.
beautiful.
That's pretty. And from what I understand too, the Americans or the Yankees, they like to do it that way, don't they? They like to have the backyard thing, and they make it really very homely. And I've got a lot of friends who in the industry have gone over to the US, and they've said exactly the same thing, that the Americans really grab a hold of them and make them their buddies and do the dinners and the backyard barbies and whatever else with them, and they can't extend enough welcoming, to the Aussies when they go over there. So that's fantastic, Bob.
Yeah, and it's that southern thing too. I'm not too sure how that translates up in the north, but it's definitely a culture down there where although it's a metropolis, it's still that farming culture.
Yeah, cool.
Everybody's friendly, everybody's inviting, and as you said, nice and warm.
Yes. Now, you took your lovely wife with you as well. Did you guys actually get time amongst all the, everything that Toyota Starmaker had prepared for you and the commitments and obligations you had over there? Did you get time to actually do some sightseeing and have a bit of a holiday as well?
Oh, yeah, we did. The first 2 weeks was pretty much all Nashville Festival, try and get the word out there. But I figured that if we're going to go to the United States, we might as well make the most of it. So we actually put on a show here in Newcastle before we left, and raised some money to get a ticket for Kylie, my wife, to come, and so we spent another 2 weeks after that travelling around. We went to Memphis. We had to go to Graceland. We had to go to Sun Studio, where all the magic was recorded. The birth of rock and roll.
Absolutely.
And then we went down to New Orleans, because I love the New Orleans style of music, from the big horn bands to the Cajun Zydeco.
Yeah, that big band setup.
Yeah, and we went along to and we did it. Well, we went to this Cajun show, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was a dance hall. All the ladies were sitting on the side and on the seats, and the men were coming up and asking them for a dance, and then they ended up teaching us how to dance, and it was absolutely brilliant. And then we went up to New York as well. Sorry, Kylz,
Sounds like a movie.
I know, it's just unbelievable. It was just one of those things, And yeah, we went up to New York, and then we went to Las Vegas. That was a connecting flight home, but we thought, seeing as we're in Vegas, we'll stay a couple of days.
Why not?
Yeah.
I've never been to Vegas, but I've got some friends that go almost daily, and reckon they do reckon that it is one of the best places on earth to go to. Not even if you're into gambling, but just for the nightlife and the atmosphere, and
it's like you're in a science fiction film there. I can't begin to explain that, which is not good for radio, but I will never be able to explain Las Vegas. Yeah.
No, you won't. You'll have some amazing memories of that trip, Bob.
Oh, indeed. It was a great thing. We've got 2 young children, a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and life is pretty much revolving around them, and everything to do with the Toyota Starmaker. So it was fantastic for Kylie to get away for a month, and it was like a second honeymoon,
Yeah, I was going to say that, actually.
Yeah, and, living in close confines with anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, you're probably going to get to a point where you just would like to go off on your own for a while, but we never really experienced that. We enjoyed each other's company, and it was good.
Well, you're married, you should.
Yeah, exactly. But, it's you lock 2 people up in a room together, and,
Ah, yes.
Yeah, come the second week, there might be some fraying of opinion, but no, it was very, very nice.
That would be if my partner and I went over there. We'd probably be like that. We'd be great for the first week, and then we'd probably end up in separate rooms and doing our own thing.
Yeah.
But so back to your kids, Bob, and excuse me, I just need to clear my throat. Back to your children. How how do they respond to all this when they hear Dad on the radio and they see Dad filling out these big crowds and travelling? What is their response to that?
Oh, it's pretty normal. I mean, it's what they know. It's not like, oh wow. It's more. They're excited. They're just excited to be around it. Like when I first brought the RAV4 home that I won use of, and I took them for a ride in it, and they were just looking out the window, going, "Oh, I think this one over here's a Toyota, Dad. Yeah, no, I think there's another Toyota coming down the road." And they don't call it the Starmaker car. It's the Toyota Starmaker car, Daddy,
And tell me, can they take Daddy in for show and tell at their school? Look what I got.
Oh, look, no, the kids don't care about me. It's all about them.
That's funny. Now, I know I have a couple of questions that I want to ask you, and feel free if you don't want to answer them, but I would appreciate if you would.
I'll admit nothing and deny everything.
With the Toyota Starmaker journey this year, do you still have a say in what happens, or is it just this is your agenda, Bob? You're going here, doing this, doing that, or do you still say yes, no? How much impact do you have still?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think a lot of people think that, but haven't really asked me, Yes, it's a balance, really, is the honest answer. There's quite a number of engagements that are locked in. Once I won, I knew that was what I would have to do, and it usually involves going and playing at some festivals. There's quite a number of festivals that I have to do. As the ambassador of Toyota Starmaker. There's also a number of things that I have to attend for Toyota, which are all really lovely things. Like this week, for example, I have to go to Sydney on Friday for National Tree Day that Toyota is a major sponsor of with Planet Arc.
Yep.
And I'm going down to the Caringbah head office of Toyota and playing for the staff. As far as, there's a lot of freedom for me to book my own shows, and I still do, and I've booked other festivals that aren't a part of the Toyota Prize, and so there is a balance, but it's not like a dictatorship, if you get my drift.
No, I do. I have got some other friends who are under labels, and they seem to be in a different label to yours, obviously, and they have that where the label will say to them, you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't do this and you can't do that. And they do, even though they appreciate the fact that they're under a label, they are still feeling very, very ruled by that company. And I'm pleased to hear you say that you've got opportunities to still do your own thing, so you're not losing your integrity as Bob Corbett, let alone Bob Corbett Toyota Starmaker. So that impresses me, Bob. I love it.
Well, the kind of deal that you're talking about, I won't go into too much business talk,
sure.
but that's sort of commonly known as the 360 deal. That's right. Sort of come around in the last, that's a shift that's been happening over the last 5 years, where the company pretty much owns everything. And I've been approached.
They own you, basically.
Yeah, I've been approached to sign 2 or 3 360 deals in the past, and I've never signed them because I just wouldn't feel comfortable that way,
No.
And as far as what Toyota Starmaker offers me, they offer me the chance to become a star. They don't make me a star. They give me every opportunity and chance to make a star out of myself, because come next January, there'll be a new winner, and their focus will then push towards the new winner, as they do every year. But over this 12 months, they give me everything that I need, and the support group behind that as well. Not just the opportunities, but I can ring them up at any time if I've got a problem, or they ring me up if they've got a problem, and we try and build the foundation this year.
That's great, because actually you have just crossed over into one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, have you been actually told what happens to you at the end of the 12-month reign? Do they just go, thanks, Bob, and on your way, or how does it actually work?
I'll be dropped like a sack of spuds. No.
No. Just quickly, I had a little conversation with you when you first won, and it makes me laugh. I won't repeat it because it was along those similar sort of lines. Do you remember?
Yeah, well...
You said, thanks for keeping it real, Kylz.
Yeah, but that's right. I mean, the crazy thing about, say, winning the RAV4 is that every 10,000 kilometres I have to give the RAV4 back and they give me a brand new one. And I got a brand new one at Hats Off to Country Festival in Tamworth a couple of weekends ago. And the first thing I did was rung up Toyota and Starmaker and said, "You are setting me up for a big fall come January." But I really don't see it that way. I'm serious. I'm just joking.
Yeah, they're trying to tell you something, Bob.
Yeah, and it's what they're doing is they're giving me the chance this year, and it's not like they're going to turn their back on me next year because I mean, just this Hats Off festival, for example, that I was at in Tamworth last weekend. They brought together a whole swag of previous winners, and we put on this concert at the Tamworth Town Hall, and it was just a success, a complete success, and a celebration of what Starmaker has achieved in offering all of these great opportunities to all these people, you know.
Yeah. So, do you feel more pressure now that you are the Toyota Starmaker? Has that changed?
Yeah, I guess there is a bit of a pressure there, but it's not an unbearable thing. I was only just talking to my mum this morning about it, and it's. But you're always going to, I guess, if you're suddenly given the mantle of being the ambassador for Australian country music and Toyota and Starmaker and the Starmaker brand, there's certain things expected of you. But I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, Kylz. And,
yeah, I know you have. Yep.
Yeah, and it's just a different kind of pressure, and I think I need to work under that pressure because it gives me that energy.
And also, yeah, it pushes you to do your best every single time, doesn't it?
Exactly. And particularly after coming back from the United States and seeing the calibre of musicians playing in honky-tonks for tips, and they're walking out, a 5-piece band is walking out at the end of a 4-hour show with $100 to split between them.
Yeah, that
and
keeps
they're the
it
best
real.
musicians you've ever seen. It kind of teaches you a little bit of a lesson on how to, raise the bar a bit too.
Yeah, sure. So what do you say we listen to this fantastic song of yours, The Lucky Country, and now that you are back in the Lucky Country, I think we'll run it out. Stay with me, Bob, because we will be talking on the other side of the song. Thanks, mate.
Have you forgotten that we live in a lucky country? Have you forgotten that we live in a lucky country? I went to school, yeah, I got Christmas presents when I was a kid. When I was sick, my mother took me to the doctor. When I was 5, she took me down to play soccer. Yeah, you got nothing to compare this to. Always shooting off and speaking way too soon. I used to sucking on your silver spoon. Have you forgotten that we live in a lucky country? Have you forgotten that we live in a lucky country? Pay parental leave, Aussie rules and cricket at the SCG. Labour, Liberal, Independent or Green are all better than a military regime. Do you agree? If you think that what we got here is a joke, if you don't like it, you can say it in your vote. Yeah, I'm just and say you came here on a boat. Have you forgotten that we live in a lucky country? Have you forgotten that we live in a lucky country? Have you forgotten that we live in a lucky country? First world, second world, first world, second world, third world, fourth world, go! To run our race, you lucky bastard, you're allowed to state your case. 'Cause I know that I'm living in a lucky country. Your sons and daughters are all living in a lucky country. We have got the space, side. And don't forget that you are living in a lucky country. Yeah, don't forget that you are living in a lucky country. Yeah, we got roads. Grab your motorcycle, car, or truck and loads. Cold beer, good shit, cane toes, postcodes. Hey. If you don't like it, you can say it in your vote. If you don't like it, you can put it in your vote. If you don't like it, tick the box and just vote. If you don't like it, you can say it in your vote. So just vote.
That's a great song, Lucky Country. Welcome back, Bob Corbett.
Thanks for having me. I'm really enjoying this conversation, Kyle.
Thanks for that, Bob. Listen now, Whispers, a new album. You in the recording studio, are you?
Holy dooly, yes. Yeah.
The Whispers came from you.
It's surprising they did, because I've been recording up with Nash Chambers in his studio up around near Wollombi and the Foggy Mountains, and there's absolutely no mobile reception, so I sort of just dropped off the map for a good 5 days last week.
Yes, you did, Bob Corbett.
Hey?
Yes, you did, Bob Corbett.
I know. Oh, look, I'll tell you what, when I got home, all of the the messages. But I tell you what, it's an old school way of recording an album, just going and boot camping it. We recorded everything live, no distractions. I mean, that's a luxury that's just, seldom afforded to anybody in this world we live in now. And we pretty much knocked the album over in 5 days.
Wow. That is amazing, Bob. And I bet you're going to really hear that in the record too. You'll probably be really comfortable and laid back, and you're going to get all of that out of that CD. I love it.
There's I'm not going to compare us to this, but I guess I am in a way, but I've always loved the Rolling Stones sound, where there's kind of imperfections, but all together it just makes this perfect noise. And I think there's a little bit of that in our recording, because it is live, and you get nothing has been computer edited out or auto-tuned into tune or quantized into time. So there's that lovely life and organic feel to what we're doing on the album.
That's amazing. So I'm going to ask you another question. So to sum up so far the 2012 Toyota Starmaker run, you got to be a happy man, yeah? Oh,
mate, I'm still on top of the world, and it's done wonders for my career. It's done wonders for my confidence, I mean, I was always a pretty outgoing kind of a bloke, but look, I've come in leaps and bounds over this year with the opportunities and the people I've met and the time I've spent with people that I thought I would never meet. And even just talking to people like John Williamson, or I hung out up in the Gulf of Carpentaria with Lee Koenigan for 3 days. Just talking to people like that have been around, a little bit just rubs off on you,
Oh, it would have to. Yeah,
you get that energy from these people, and the list goes on. I could bang on about what I've learnt and what I can take with me beyond the Toyota Starmaker.
Yeah. Well, Bob Corbett, you epitomise the heart and soul of country music in this country, and I, for one, was so pleased to hear that you actually won the award. And I did say on air, not long after that I couldn't think of anybody more deserving, because you have been working really hard for years, and yet that work has actually paid off, and it's in the culmination of the 2012 Toyota Starmaker. I for one, I couldn't be more happier for you, mate.
Oh, that's a lovely thing to say, mate. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Well, you are a mate of mine, but aside from that, I do respect you as a performer. I've seen you play live a few times, and had the privilege of watching you play with a certain harmonica player who goes down okay too.
He does indeed.
He does. Now, my final question, I'm going to let you go because obviously you are a busy man and you're probably under the pump. First of all, actually, two questions. First of all, when might we see the light of day with a new CD?
Oh, it's not far off. We're going to launch it in Gympie, which is, the last weekend of August?
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's all systems go.
Fantastic. Now, I always finish off my interviews with this question for everybody that I talk to. Bob Corbett, what is the last CD that you bought or the last song that you heard on your iPod or your phone or your CD?
Oh, you got to get your pens and paper out for this one, people. You probably haven't heard of this band, but they're called the Time Jumpers. And
you're right.
I tell you what, it'll change you. It'll give you a whole new country music experience. I saw them on my 40th birthday in Nashville. There's about 12 of them, and they play nice old-time western swing country like you've never heard it before. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing. I can't tell you the name of one of the tracks. I've just been listening to all of the whole
that's
album.
All right. Now, did you just say that you turned 40? Was that this year?
Yes, I turned 40 in June. Yeah, in Nashville.
So you're with me. You've joined the naughty 40s.
That's right. Life begins at
40. It absolutely does. Bob, it has been a pleasure to talk to you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, look, thanks for your time, Kylz, and thanks for those lovely questions. I thought that was a great conversation we had.
No worries. Now, listen, this interview can't get any better for me, but please don't tell me, and my listeners will know, if you happen to speak to Luke Bryan while you're over there, don't tell me. If you had your photo taken with him, don't tell me. Okay?
Luke who?
Luke Bryan, thank you. You know Damien Bagley?
Oh, I do indeed. I saw him over there, yeah.
Yes, the bugger that he is. He actually had his photo taken with Luke Bryan, and I'm going to be the next Mrs. Luke Bryan because
when he flashes those pearly whites, you're shaking.
But you know what, Bob? He plastered it all over my Facebook page, and every time I put my Facebook on, there is Luke Bryan with Damien Bagley. I know he does it to rub salt into the wound.
One day that will be you, Kyle.
It will be, and you'll be coming to my wedding as Mrs. Luke Bryan number 2. Bob, again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. All the best with the new album, and I'm sure I'll get a copy of it to start spinning.
Oh, you will indeed.
Good man. All right, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and let's talk soon.
Yeah, and thanks, listeners, for tuning in and having a listen to our tin wag. I've enjoyed it.
Me too, Bob. All right, take care.
Okay, mate. See you, Kyle.
Bob Corbett. He is a very down-to-earth man, and as I said, the heart and soul of country music in Australia. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back. It's 25 to 3. You're listening to Rock That Country with Kylz on today's Country 94.1.